day of the Advent calendar. I have a feeling I know what this one is. Let's open it up. Oh, yep, it's a treat. Let's see what kind of fun treat we got. We have a candy cane. So let's see if we can make some sort of fun treat holder for this candy cane to give to somebody. I will grab some supplies and be right back. A treat holder is what's up on our platters. And I grabbed the Christmas confections because there is a candy cane paper. So we are going to make a quick little slimline card. I might pull that out too. Let's just see. We need to find that candy cane paper. There it is. I may not use that one because I think I might want some more white. Or something for contrast. There's also the pink with the red candy cane, which kind of makes it fun. Maybe we'll grab, yeah, let's do the pink with the red because this candy cane, these candy cane looks more like those, so we're going to use the red one, even though the pink one would be fun. But we are going to grab a fun stamp set to, I'm adding one more thing to our mix. This is the Candy Cane Christmas stamp set. I will link it below if it's still available in the store. It was also a freebie for Black Friday. If you got, I'm going to use this Candy Cane Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses. I think that's perfect to go with this. We're going to make a mini slimline card. So I need to get a piece of paper for a card base. And I had some mini slim card bases ready, but I'm not sure where I put them. So I'm going to grab another piece of paper. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. So this is 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I like my slimline cards to be 3.25 by 6 or 6.25, sometimes 6, sometimes 6.25. And so I'm going to go ahead and, so 3.25 plus 3.25 is 6.5. And then I subtract that from 11. So what is that? 3.5, 6.5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 4.5. We're going to make it work. Yes, 4.5. Pretty sure that's right. And then we'll do 6.25. The other direction. That's eyeballing it. It's about approximately 6.25. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my scoreboard. So this is 6.5 and this is 6.25. So at 6.5 side, I want to score it 3.25. And if I did my math right, I should fold it right directly in half. It's just not letting, the fibers aren't liking it. Now it doesn't look like I cut quite a straight edge on this other side. I must have moved my paper slightly. And I will say, usually your paper comes pretty square, but every once in a while you do get a piece of paper that isn't. So I'm just gonna trim it off on both sides, on all 4 sides, to make sure that it is nice and square. Okay, so we just trimmed off a little bit so we have a nice square card. We've got this beautiful pattern paper that I'm going to go ahead and cut down to 3 because that's directly in half. And that fits perfectly on here. Now we need another fun little detail for this card because we need a little pocket to put this in, right? So let's see. Let's look in our card. Let's look in here. I'm thinking that we're going to grab the striped paper, not that one. I'm thinking the other, if there's still a piece left, because I've been using this the whole time. Flip it over, because I might not have. Yes, I want. Actually, let's just look. I'm thinking maybe we'll use this piece because it has the candy canes on it as well. Okay, that's what we will do. So what we're going to do is first we got to see how long we want it. I'm going to do I'm going to do this. Let's use my tool. So I'm going to put this in because this is 6 inches. And I'm just going to put it right to the edge, put this piece in, and I'm going to go down, and I'm thinking 4 inches. 4 inches is going to work. So we're going to do 4 inches. And then I'm going to trim 1/4 inch. I'm going to trim off 1/2 inch. So this will be 2.5 inches. Okay. I'm just coming up with these measurements on my own. So it's going to be just like this. Then we have that pretty little border around the edge. So let's add some double-sided adhesive. I am going to use this thicker adhesive here, or not the super thick adhesive, but this isn't 1/4 inch. This might be 1/4 inch versus the 1/8 of an inch because we have a candy cane. And then I'm going to, I apologize, I realized I had my TV on in the background, so I don't know if you could hear that. I just turned it off. Go ahead and put this down right here. And then we need a little bit at the bottom to cover over. All right, that looks about perfect. And then we're going to kind of just use our fingers to kind of, it will be fine. Just did a little bit of a kind of a bend without really creasing anything. You could also use some liquid adhesive too. Maybe we'll do that just to make sure it's doubly good and tight. And then I'm going to center this on my card base towards the bottom. Now you could zhuzh this up by doing some ink blending on the edges. But putting that a little bit, ooh, we're not quite centered. Move that over a little bit. It'll be close enough. That little bit of a bend in here. Now we can slip our candy cane inside. Now we want to make sure it's nice and good and dry before we do that. It's not dry yet, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that's nice and good and dry. Let's go ahead and attach this to our card base. Because the glue will take a few seconds to dry. If you ever get overhang with your tape runner, just kind of rub your fingers on it like this, and it kind of pushes it back over the edge. You can also use a glue eraser if you want to. Just be careful you don't get paper cut. I'm going to go ahead and center that right on my card base. We're going to continue to kind of let that glue dry there a little bit. You know, you can always stick something that's not quite as, like, because you want it, you know, see, like I said, it's going to take a little bit for that to dry because I keep sticking something in there. So let's do that. Let's let that dry. And that's partially because these are they've got like a little shiny to them. Let's stamp out our sentiment. And I think for our sentiment, I'm just going to grab this scratch piece of paper. And I still haven't cleaned up from yesterday's. Let's get this stamp cleaned up. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to try a little fun. So let's put our stamps away. I'm going to grab this Candy Cane Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses. Grab our stamp. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think that will fit on our tag. Nope. So that's okay. We're just going to stamp it down right here in the middle. And then I have not used this stamp yet. Put that back on the cardstock. So I'm going to rub my hands over this a little bit, just in case there's any film on there. And I'm going to grab my Rosy Cheeks. And somewhere here I have my bee sting. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of the bee sting. And then, oops, flip that upside down. Grab a little bit of the Rosy Cheeks. I Okay, we're going to stamp that down. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, I love it. So let's go back and do a little bit more of this rosy cheeks. Stamp that down again, get a nice firm on there. And then we'll grab a little bit more of the bee sting. And what I'm going to do is, sorry, I'm running out of space here. Grab a blending brush would be the best way to do this. And you just kind of dab where the edge is. And that prevents it from being a harsh line. And then we'll stamp that down. And we need a little bit more of those rosy cheeks. The rosy cheeks is lighter, so I'm not worried about as much with the harsh line. And stamp that down. And look at how fun that is. Now our sentiment matches our candy cane. And we're just gonna, I could probably cut this out with an oval or something. I'm just gonna cut it down with a square. Just cut it down with a square. Simple, simple. I'm just gonna line it up. I might be off camera here a little bit, but I'm just lining the edges of my sentiment with my edge guard. Whatever the farthest piece is over the edge of my guard, and just cut that down. And then I think for just a little bit of extra fun, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my blending brushes, and starting with the rosy cheeks, I'm going to come around and just edge it up a little bit, just to give it a little dimension from the white. You could have done, found a red cardstock and stamped this with embossing powder, with white, like alabaster ink and alabaster embossing powder, and that would make a fun color too. And then I will grab, I thought I had a red blending brush here. That one's more pinky. Where's my red? Well, I'm not seeing a red, so let's grab a new brush, which is really weird. I should have had red somewhere there. It seems like I have a bunch of pink. We'll make this one red. It's brand new. So I'm going to add it's going to take a little bit to get a little bit of that ink on there, but this is a stellar ink, so you don't have to really push in too hard. Just go around the edges. Overlapping a little bit. Put a little bit more up here just because I didn't get a lot of that pink. And that will just differentiate this edge of this from the other piece. And then we'll go ahead and we'll glue that down. So now I have this candy cane, wishes, and mistletoe kisses. Making sure it's centered. It's covering up a lot of that pattern paper, but that's okay. You could have stamped it on vellum, but I don't know if you would have seen that as well. And then very carefully, hopefully it's dry, or dry enough for my video. I have a broken candy cane. I think that's part of the problem, that it's not liking me because my candy cane is broken. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my bone folder in there first. And then I'll stick my candy cane. Take my bone folder out, and I can stick the rest of my candy cane in. And then here I go. You could put a little bow on your candy cane. But there you go. You got a little fun treat holder for day 13. I really hope you enjoyed this series. Give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Did you have a favorite of all of the days? Stay tuned, because I hope to be able to do the advent calendar for... I'm hoping to have time to do the holiday countdown to Valentine's Day advent calendar videos. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.